Hello, and welcome to Lighting the Way with Beth Green and Friends. I would like to talk to you a little bit tonight about what this show is about. And then I want to get right into our topic, which is dealing with reluctance. How do we get ourselves to do what we think we need to do, but really don't want to? And I think this is a perfect segue into what I want to talk about this show. There is a lot going on in our society today, of course, and there are a lot of excellent people on the air who are doing analysis of events and who are really leading the way in many ways. And I appreciate what they're saying. But I say to myself, you don't need me to regurgitate current events or the news or anything because you can get that in so many other places. So, why should we even do this program unless we're contributing something a little bit different? And what I feel like I'm contributing, or I would like to contribute, and that I also feel that our panel contributes is more of the inner stuff that's going on with us. And not that it's not relevant to what's happening in our world and that they relate to one another. But in the meantime, as life goes on, we are still dealing with ourselves, the same ourselves that we have been dealing with for decades, or sometimes it feels like for centuries. So, I'd like you to think about whether or not this content is valuable to you. If it is, I would love to have your support with you sharing this program or giving a like or a love or a thumbs up on YouTube, uh, subscribing to my YouTube channel and following me on Facebook on my public page, Beth Green, the music and the message. So here is an example of we're still here and we are reacting to whatever is going on outside of us with our own particular flavor of, should I say, neurosis or just who we are. Anyway, so let's talk about reluctance. What do you do when you don't want to do something and you think you need to? So, in the introduction, in the description tonight, I put in some comments. Uh, this is how I describe this show. You wake up in the middle of the night and you have to pee, and you don't want to get up. But if you don't, you'll wet the bed. What do? What about having to see those relatives when you don't like them? Or doing a live stream when you'd rather be in bed? Or going to work when you know it will be stressful and unproductive, or feeding the baby in the middle of the night when you're exhausted, or talking to your husband when you're furious. Today, Beth Green will walk you through strategies to deal with reluctance. Join us. It will be fun. So that's how I describe this show. And I would bet you that every one of you can relate to this topic. And it would be interesting to see how we tend to deal with these things and what might help us to deal with it better. So, there is a premise here, which is what do you do if you have to do something, but you really don't want to? Even sometimes you don't even know that you don't want to, but you're acting out unconsciously, like you delay and you postpone and you procrastinate or you grumble or whatever it is, right? So, whatever it is that you need to do, the question is, do you really have to do it? So many of us think we have to do everything that's on our plate. Well, do we have to do it? Or are we accustomed to doing it? Or are people expecting us to do it? Do our friends want us to do it? Our spouses, our society, our parents, you know, oh, even us. Are we expecting ourselves to do it? But do we really have to? Now, the example of getting up in the middle of the night when you have to pee, I would say that, eh, the consequences of not doing it are much worse than having to get up. Maybe you could agree with that. So, obviously, that's part of the first point. Do you really have to do it? Well, what would be the consequence of not doing it? Losing face, embarrassing yourself, disappointing somebody, uh, dying. Let's say you need to exercise, you've just had a terrible accident, and you've been given exercises by your physical therapist, and you have to do it, or you're never going to really be able to walk. So there is an incentive there. It's like, oh my God, if I don't do this, I am going to be even more crippled than I am now, and I won't be able to do the things I love and enjoy. And it's like, oh, those are the consequences of not doing it. And, you know, so maybe I should. Doesn't mean you're going to jump in and do it, but you will be bothered by the idea of what the consequences are, because they tell you that if you don't exercise, you won't get better, even as better as you can be. Now, what about not visiting the relatives on Christmas? What is the consequence of doing that? Well, you might piss off one of your relatives. Well, if you're not in the will, who cares? I didn't say that, but it's kind of true, isn't it? So you can disappoint somebody. Your mother will hear about it, or your husband or wife or a significant other will be disappointed because it's their family and you'll never hear the end of it. Well, do you really feel like this is the right thing to do? And if you don't, and you don't do it, are you willing to pay the price of not doing it? Just like, are you willing to pay the price by peeing in your bed or by not getting better after you've had, knee replacement? So many other examples that I gave in the introduction. So, are you willing to pay the price of not doing it? So then you think about that and you say, well, okay, I really have to do it. So then you get to the next question is, and this is trickier than it looks. Why don't you want to do it? You can say, oh, it's cold out. My feet hurt. Oh, Aunt Molly is such a bore or a nag, or I'm going to never, and they're going to be critical of the, we can come up with a million reasons and a million excuses. Do you know that half of the time, at least, I'm just making up that number, right? It could be more, it could be less. Those are not the reasons that you don't want to do it. You see, if you are going to take a look at why you don't want to do something, you're going to have to do something that we are not trained to do in our society, in our world, which is to look within. Look within. No, I've been trained to shame and blame or feel guilty or something like that, but actually look within and try to understand myself. Oh, no, that's deep. That takes effort. Oh, I don't want to do that. Well, if you're going to find out why you don't want to do something, you're going to have to do something you don't want, which is to look within and see what's going on with you. Oh my God, it's now snowballing. All the I don't want tos. I don't want to see something about myself that I don't like, or that if I realize this, then maybe I'm going to have to change, or I might have to make an apology to somebody. I mean, all those awful things that we just don't want to do. But they're not necessarily that terrible. I mean, especially when you think about what the consequences are of not doing it. So most of the time when we say, I don't want to do this, I don't want to go to work today, my back hurts. Maybe that's true, and maybe you're sick and you should stay home. But maybe your back hurts because you don't want to go to work. And why don't you want to go to work? Because you're in the wrong profession, or because you have feelings that you don't like and that you experience those feelings at work. For example, maybe you feel inadequate. Maybe you feel like the person next to you is better at the same job, or maybe you think that your boss is critical, or maybe you resent that you're not getting paid enough. All of these things could be factors in why you don't want to go to work. Or maybe it's a hard job and you have to stretch and you don't want to. So you can see how one layer leads to another. But what is the consequence of not finding out why you don't want to go to work? Well, you might stop going to work. You might lose your job. You might start drinking after work to kind of relieve yourself of all the anxiety. There's a lot of bad consequences. Now, here's another point. This is the fourth point around this. How do we deal with reluctance? Could there be something else bothering you that is impacting your mood? In other words, is it that you really don't want to go to work? Or are you miserable in your relationship and you don't want to admit that? So you want to blame it on your work or on the weather or the transportation system or something, right? Something else. Is there something else bothering you that is impacting your mood? I think I have that a lot because I notice about myself that sometimes I do something with such vigor and verve and vivaciousness, and then it's the same thing, and I just dread it and I don't want to do it. So, am I being blocked by somebody else who doesn't want me to do it? Or is it that I'm feeling depressed and everything seems so hard? Uh, is there something? Am I jealous? Am I angry? Am I scared of something in my life? And I blame it on, oh, it's the relatives. I don't want to see them at Christmas. Maybe I don't want to admit that another year has passed and I'm getting older. So I'm going to come up with one more point before I open this up to my panel. And that final point is, if you feel that you really should do something, you've really examined it, you've taken a look at the consequences of not doing it, and you're saying, this is for my highest good to do this. And if you've examined why you don't want to do it and you've gotten honest about that, and you've been looking at your mood and trying to deal with it in however way you can. Supposing you reach this point and you feel still reluctant, but I just don't want to. Then the next thing is, the only thing left is to try to figure out how to make yourself want to do it. And what do I mean by that? For example, make it fun. Make it fun. I noticed that a lot of people listen to music while they're working out, or they do all kinds of things to make themselves feel more like doing it. So put yourself in a comfortable position if you're going to meditate. If you're uncomfortable, don't sit on the damn floor and act like, you have to be a yogi and sit in a cross-legged position that kills you. Why don't you find a comfortable position for you to meditate in? So that could make it more pleasant too. And that's so many other things. What can you do about going to work when you don't want to? When I say, oh, yeah, you might find it frustrating and you're afraid you're going to well, it's going to be frustrating. The people you're working for don't have a lot of integrity or a lot of common sense or whatever it is. But there are people at the office or in the factory or at the warehouse or wherever you are at the store that you like. And you go in there and you smile at them and you relate to them. And the day passes because you're doing something fun. Instead of focusing on the damn thing that you don't want to do, you focus on the thing you do want to do. See the enjoyment, notice that it's a beautiful day, give yourself a break. So that would be my suggestion. Try to find a way to make it more fun. Now, would you want to do that? Not if you want to be reluctant, not if you want to grumble, not if you want to complain. If you want to complain and grumble and be miserable, I can't stop you. There's a reason for that. Then you have to ask yourself, why am I reluctant to be happy now? Why do I insist that I make myself miserable? So that's the final comment that I have right now. And because I'd like to bring on my guests. And the first one in the order that they show up is Lizzie.
Hello.
And the next one is James. And,
Hello.
and I'm going to put you in a different formula there. And last but not least is Todd. And I have to tell you that every time I come into this program that I do this live streaming from, they've changed something, and you don't know where it is. So I don't want to use it, but I have to, because the other option is I'm off the air, which might be a good thing. And that's why I said I really want to know whether you find this content valuable. Is it worth me doing it even when I'd rather be in bed? Or would I really rather be in bed? If I thought you felt it was worthwhile, I think I'd rather be here. And so there. Okay, so who would like to comment to start with on reluctance? How do you get yourself to do things you don't want to?
I could share.
James.
Yeah. First thing that came to mind was uh, we did some laundry the other day, and our normal housekeeper, it was going to be the day after Thanksgiving, where there was an option to have her come and fold the clothes. We decided to let, not have her do that, but I would do it. And so that's something that I've been reluctant to do forever.
Fold clothes.
Fold clothes. That's right. But
Big
I,
He-Man can't fold clothes. All right, very good,
but
James.
then I looked at it and says, wait a minute. I'd like to have my t-shirts folded and put in my drawer, and I could do some of your clothes too and put them away. And the consequence of not doing it would be they're just sitting around wrinkled. But folding them, they stay nice and neat, and I can access them more easily, and life feels better. So that's just one example. Now,
Well,
another,
so
yeah,
well, wait a minute, wait a minute.
yeah,
You didn't go through the litany of questions. Okay, so the consequences of not doing it is having completely mangled clothes,
yeah,
but and you weren't willing to pay the price at least that day. But you didn't go on to number 3 is why didn't you want to do it?
because it's a chore, drudgery, and I'd rather somebody else did it.
Maybe
Normally
that's
somebody
a
else
little
does it.
bit more superficial. Maybe you should go a little bit deeper into that one, James.
Okay, okay, well,
Would you say he doesn't want to go deeper?
I could say it's woman's work
Oh, you couldn't you?
because after all, that's what my mother did.
Right.
My father never did that. So
Well,
it's kind
that's it. So, James, you should have married your mother.
of well, I brought her along into this relationship.
That's very cute.
And what was the other point?
That's it. Could there be something else bothering you that is impacting your mood? But that didn't fit in this particular case. You don't want to do it because it's women's work.
Right. But then once I got to doing it, it was fine. It felt pleasant. Folding the clothes, and felt, oh boy, this is going to be nice. I'm going to have these T-shirts available, and I can do
Right. And
these things.
you could have made it more pleasant by uh
Having music on,
huh?
having
Having
music on.
music on, talking to a friend on Zoom, talking to your wife who can't stand up. So playing with your dog, you know,
There you go.
make it fun.
Okay,
Make it fun.
there we are. Okay. There's another example I could give you. Um, Beth, you and I have this understanding that I'm going to be doing twinkling with you each day, which is kind of a form of energy work, energy healing work. But my my male ego got in a twist again uh, regarding seeing you getting stronger yesterday, and then I went into prove it mode, trying to prove I could be the man. And the more I tried to do that, the more I messed up. And so I was doing things that I don't normally do, and I didn't want to do them. But coming around to doing the healing work with you, I didn't much feel like doing it. But I felt, well, the consequence would be that I'd be perpetuating the alienation, and the alienation might even get worse. So I looked at it and says, I want to step up and do that, and I did, and I felt better, and looked like you felt better. So that was a very important process for me to get through.
Bravo.
Mhm.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Who else would like to share? Thank you, James.
You're welcome. You're
My
welcome.
goodness, there's none of the other members of our panel today are ever reluctant to do anything.
You must be
Obviously.
speaking up now.
I'll go. I just didn't have my microphone turned up. I actually was talking. Sorry.
Oh,
I was reluctant to turn on my microphone.
that's right. You were
No, you
unconsciously
I
sabotaging.
felt like this show was specifically like be for me. And it was hard because there were so many questions and half the time I don't know what my motivation how I heard what you were saying. I mean, I didn't write down all the questions. I wrote down some of them, but sometimes I'm not clear and I think I just think about it until I get clear or I struggle with it. Like I know I'm grappling with it, but I don't know like what's really going on underneath the scenes. And I don't want to, so I was
And
thinking
you
about
don't
this
want
just
to what?
I don't want to do anything until I maybe get more clear. I don't know. I really don't know. I like sometimes I'm just a jumble of emotions and I don't really know
And you
like
don't want to find out why.
I guess I just, I seem to perpetuate it and avoiding it or something.
Well, honey,
Yeah.
wouldn't you say that you're not going after the why? I mean, don't you know you could call, do you call people? Do you consult with anybody when you notice that you're in this jumble of emotion and don't know why you're not doing something?
No, I just go on to the next thing that I know that I should be doing. I think about it for about 5 minutes and I'm like, okay, I'm busy. Let me go on to the next thing and deal with that. And this will come back again or something. I don't know. It's making me really trying to understand my process.
But what I'm saying is you could say in
Yes.
this case that you don't want to find out because if you wanted to find out, you would take the steps towards finding out. And
Right.
I didn't hear that you did that, right?
No, I didn't. I mean, I don't even know if, one of the questions was, why don't I want to do it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what I'm saying is what you don't want to do is find out why you don't want to do it,
Yeah.
right? Or you would be going after the finding out that you don't want to do it.
Or finding out why I don't want to do it. Yeah.
Exactly.
I have someone in my house that could help me sort that out, or at least have a clue about what it might be, or some way, at least offer to help me. Yeah.
But you wouldn't want to do that.
No.
No. So that would be the initial question that you should ask yourself is why don't I want, is it that I don't want to ask for help, or is it that I don't want to find out why I don't want to do it? To start finding out what's underneath there.
Well, one of the things that I did realize is I think, a lot of my motivation is how is this going to make me feel, make me look, the things that I go toward, like the things that I want to do. There's some personal payoff in it for me. Um, I get to feel good about myself. I'm going to get like accolade or something like that. So, uh,
Well, don't
that's,
forget the first one is do you really have to do it? What
mhm.
would be the consequences of not doing it? And are you willing to pay that price? So, you've got to start, in a way, you have to start there is like, okay, what would happen if I didn't do it? Maybe I really don't want to. Are you willing to pay the price of not doing it? And what is that price?
Mm-hmm.
See, the why don't you want to do it comes after you ask those first questions.
All right, I've written down all the questions, so at least I got that part, and I can keep it in front of me and work on that. Maybe we should go on to Lizzie, and I can come back if I have any realizations.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad. It's obvious to me now that this is pretty useful.
It is, and it is. I mean, it was challenging for me to not even like run out of the room with all the questions. Like there was so much to ponder, and I feel like, oh my God, can I even ever get clear?
You mean in
That's
the
what,
description or as I was talking?
as you're going through the questions and giving examples and so forth, I'm just like, oh my God, this is so much.
Well, so much means it made you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it did. It did.
So that's what you're saying. Well, so then that makes me feel like this is worthwhile. If anybody is hanging in there listening,
Yes.
then they are actually allowing themselves to feel the discomfort of looking at these questions. And we all do this, Todd.
Yeah, and I think I usually run from the discomfort. Like I just get busy with the next thing that I know I have to do, and I don't stop and go, okay, I'm uncomfortable. Why? I just like try and like just avoid it and run on to the next thing that I might be able to feel good about.
Right. And then of course that would lead to another question, which is why is it so painful to see something that you judge as negative, and why do you judge it as negative? Is it
Mhm.
really negative, or is it just the right thing and you don't want to face it? So all of those questions have to be answered by you, but but the questions have to be asked in
Right.
order for you to really.
Get the answer and get clear. I
Right.
mean, yeah.
Otherwise, what happens, there is a negative consequence to not asking these questions,
Sure,
which
I realize that. I don't feel good, and anybody that I'm interacting with that is waiting for an answer or whatever, they're hanging out in limbo also. I do see that. Yeah.
which makes you feel bad about yourself.
Right.
So in the end, it certainly isn't making you feel better.
Mhm. Right.
Trying to run away from discomfort usually leaves you into a sewer. So, which is obviously more comfortable.
Or into
Okay,
a bar.
Lizzie.
Or into a
Or
bar.
Yeah.
or a
Okay.
smoke shop or something.
Right.
Yeah, this is a really good topic because I so want to run. The hardest part is getting clear on what I'm feeling. And I don't, luckily I get a lot of help from you in that arena. But it's like, when have we ever been taught or supported growing up how to decipher what are we feeling? Why is this happening? And I'm sure there's plenty of times that I've done things that I didn't want to do and I procrastinated, and I said I wanted to do something, but I haven't done it. So did I really want to do it? If I don't do it, what are the ramifications? It's like I had an idea. Well, my wife and I had an idea that we would invite all of our neighbors, like once a week, or give an option once or twice a week. We could get together, just bring your dinner down. Don't even, have to have a potluck, but let's just all get together, and whoever can show up, show up. And I haven't done it. And now it's like, well, now we're going into the holidays. Now it's cold. And,
It's too cold to go from one apartment to another.
no, we were going to have it outside
Oh,
because
that is, I see. Okay.
everybody's place is small, but,
Right.
but, it's like, well,
The garage.
it's full now too.
Oh, okay.
See, I have all these excuses,
You certainly do.
so it's like, well, do I really want to?
Do you really want to have people over?
Mm-hmm.
And
Part of me is like, if I have neighbors come over, what if I don't really like them?
don't invite them back.
Because the idea was, we would just share with everybody, hey, every Tuesday, come over at 6 o'clock whenever you can. And
Well, why don't you just say, let's do it once, see how it goes?
yeah,
That's pretty easy.
yeah, that's easier. So it's not so daunting and like,
Well,
it's a
no, I
kid.
mean, you're not committed. You can see if you like it. You're giving yourself the freedom to get out of it if it doesn't really work for you.
That's
So,
true.
so all you have to do is say, we're thinking about doing something like this. Um, but I don't know. I don't want to get committed. You probably don't want to get committed either. Why don't we try it once and see? Talk about it openly. Oh my God, maybe this isn't going to be, as wonderful as we think it'll be. So why don't we do it once, and then we'll see what happens. And maybe we won't want to do it, but somebody else will want to pick it up, or maybe it can. Okay, so you see what I mean? Make it fun. Make it light. So there was that, final thing is try to make it. I've got a dog. Oh,
Oh, hi,
yeah,
Charlie.
somebody loves me. So yeah, just say, laugh about it. Say, I don't know how I'm going to feel. I don't know how you're going to feel. Why don't we just give it a try, see how it goes, and just be open and relaxed about it.
Yeah, because I have stories, I'm like, well, I'm going to get jealous because some people will click more with others and not with me,
Yeah,
or
well, find out if that's in fact how
yeah.
you feel. But that's grist for the mill anyway. That's Charlie digging the hole to China in the chair. Hey, do you remember that as a kid? They said, if you dig a hole, you'll
Go
get
all
to
the way to
China.
China. Yep.
So, yeah, I you see what I mean? All you're doing is, yes, you may be facing some insecurities, and so you can say, I feel a little bit insecure about this. So why don't we try it and see how we all feel? An amazing suggestion. Just be open about it and try to make it into fun.
Hmm.
Or do it once a month. Why does it have to be every Tuesday? I think that's really daunting. Say, hey, why don't we try the first Sunday of the month or the first Tuesday of the month? Let's see what happens. We could call it neighbors hating neighbors.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad you're thinking. I could see this. We could talk all night about this one topic, couldn't we? I don't know if we should, but you've got the questions. Do you really have to do it? Well, you don't really have to do this. This is something you're volunteering. What would be the consequences of not doing it? Nothing. Nobody would ever know that you had even had the idea. Are you
Well,
willing
I
to
would
pay
miss
the
out on making more community.
Yes. The consequences of not doing it is not having the community that you think you want. And then why don't you want to do it? And you're talking about because of your insecurities. Could there be something else bothering you that's impacting your mood? Is there anything else that's happening that's making you feel more insecure than really are you really that insecure about this, or are you really upset about something else and you're projecting onto that, and how to make it fun? So this is an outline of steps, and I would love to find out how everybody does with this um, in the future. So, does anyone have anything else that they would like to share tonight? Todd, did you have a blinding flash?
I didn't have a blinding flash. I was really thinking about Lizzie and her thing, and it didn't look like it moved the needle, at least from how her face looks. So I don't know what that means, but I guess we'll find out in our next get together, which is, yeah,
Right after this, we do a group. It's a
yeah.
private group that people pay for, where I do more of a counseling thing called Seeing Through New Glasses. Isn't that a great name? That's what we all need to do, is see through new glasses. So I'm offering Lizzie a set of glasses. Now, does she want to see? Hey, Isn't that
We'll find out.
always the question? Isn't that what
Yep.
we're asking you? Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
So I said that I wanted to know if people really want to support this program, are interested, should I keep doing it? And this is, so I'm going to give it a couple of weeks and see how it goes, because I will at times talk about current events and things like that. But there is so much to talk about that has to do with who we are and the way we react to things that I don't think I would ever run out of topics. And these very much relate to how we are dealing with everything that's going on in our lives. So I think with no further ado, I should say goodbye and play some music. If I can find it now, they've moved the music, of course. And we are so grateful. Please come back every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time and tell all your friends about Lighting the Way. And anything else, we're on Facebook and YouTube.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Where is the music? I'm clicking. Here we go.